There are a few requirements that you need to be successful in business. And two of those requirements is leadership and data, the right information. You see, as a leader, it's important for you to have a sense of self, a sense of purpose, and a sense of direction. It's important for you to be able to think ahead, see beyond problems, and take informed action to achieve desired results. And you need the right information. And today we will introduce you to a very unique concept. Over the last few weeks, you would have heard me talk about the sales communication process or the sales communication ecosystem. And there are 8 to 9 important organisms that represent these ecosystems. Today, I want to spend some time looking at the very first ecosystem or the very first organism within the ecosystem, which is the absolute buyer data marker. And today, we will do a deep dive into the type of information that you need here, the usefulness of this information, and how that information could be applied to help you to achieve so much more in the business process. But just before we get started, do permit me to introduce myself. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm also a private equity investor. I represent a number of companies outside of the or in the US to through the business process. This program also comes to you with the kind compliments of Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York. And I encourage you to take some time and look at that website. Go to pitchdeck101.org. This website will really help you to understand how we have built out our platform to help you. First, we help you start your business in the US. So we do from A to Z. We help you get registered with the Secretary of State. We help you get visible with the business credit bureaus. We help you get access to capital, and we work with you to help you to get access to the market. Global Capital Inc., as you can see the logo on screen, we work with businesses to really help businesses to understand financial instruments. And by that, what I mean, in financial instruments, you have debt, equity, credit, creative financing, and hard money lending. You need to understand this entire portfolio where you're into business. You also need to understand how to access financial instruments, how to leverage, and more so how to mitigate debt. So between Global Capital Inc. and 10X B&M LLC and Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York, we provide a comprehensive range of services to the business community to help businesses to make better business decisions. All right, so just before we get started again, I want to encourage you that if you're in business and you find this content interesting, I want to encourage you to like, subscribe, and share. You will be the first to get this information when we publish. And if you know anyone else who's in business and need to have this body of knowledge, kindly share it with them. All right. We are here to give solid business advice. And as you build up your business in the right way, set up your business properly, we will work with you to ensure that you have access to capital and that entire support to ensure that throughout your business decision making process, you're making the right decision. Now, let's talk a little bit about the sales communication ecosystem. And we're going to be looking at the very first organism in under the sales communication ecosystem. The first organism is what we call the absolute buyer data. Now, what exactly is the absolute buyer data? What this is saying to you is that you need to be aware of data. And the absolute buyer data means that you're looking at the collective information or the collective body of knowledge that can better help you understand your ideal client. So we're going to go through that entire process today, and by the end of this program, you will have a much clearer idea as to the usefulness and the effective application of the absolute buyer data marker. Now, the absolute buyer data marker begins by giving emphasis on market research. Now, what is the importance of market research? You see, if you're starting your business and you don't have information, the right information, it means that you're simply getting into business with a blindfold over your eyes. And I say that against the backdrop, you don't know anything about the market. You don't know your market size, you don't know market density, market dispersion, you don't know your target market, what are their needs and their wants and their expectations, what are their pain points. You haven't researched if your value proposition is strategically aligned to the ideal client. You don't have this information. You just get into business. And that's definitely not the right way to get into business. So the absolute buyer data begins by helping you to understand the importance of conducting market research. Market research is so important. You always want to be in the know. You want to, along with everything that I've just spoke about, you want to know, you know, strengths and weaknesses in the market. You want to know your competitors. You want to understand the entire dynamics of business. It is this body of knowledge that really helps you to make better business decisions. It is this body of knowledge that really helps you to understand how to navigate the entire business process. As I talk about navigating business process, you know, I could recall many years ago, myself and colleagues, we were talking about the pest analysis, and a conversation started around the pest analysis. We were looking at the P and we were looking at it in association with visibility. And one of the things that we often say is that visibility is not reach, reach is not impact, impact is not necessarily conversion. We went on to also escalate the argument into the fact that one can be visible, highly visible, but yet not achieve the sales communication objective. And what is the sales communication objective? You are not liked, you are not trusted, you are not achieving the sales objective, but you're highly visible. And in certain countries, we talk about political issues that can thwart your every effort to integrate a brand into the market. So that's food for thought. At the right time, we're going to do a deep analysis because, again, we talk about market research and we talk about bringing facts to you to really help you to understand that once you're in business, you need to understand economic systems, you need to understand political realities as you get into the business environment. However, let's get into this. So we're talking today about the importance of market research. And I want us to shift this now to the different types of research that are more commonly used. The research tool that is used, and one of those research tools that is used, it is called the primary market research. Now, the primary market research is where you get the boots on your feet and you hit the ground. What this does, it provides you with the opportunity to have direct one-on-one interface with the ideal client. And once you are good about this process in the right way, you have several advantages that will come out of this, because here is where you are interfacing with the ideal client and you're extracting information, you're collecting sensitive data from the ideal client that is going to be informing the entire business decision. And to have this type of information, it is so priceless, because here is where you know that these are the specific needs that the specific demographic or target market have, and these are products innovation or service innovation that you can actually innovate to reach those specific needs or possibly go beyond the expectation. So that's a major advantage that you have when you do primary market research. And in the absolute buyer data, we talk a lot about this so as to ensure that you understand the importance of doing this. But while there is major advantages in this process, there are disadvantages from the perspective that any attempt to do solid, in-depth primary market research is going to be capital intensive. And most businesses shy away from the cost associated with market intelligence, the cost associated with primary market research and the collection, the analysis, and the leveraging of this data. So they see the cost as a disadvantage, and in most cases, because you're seeing the cost as a disadvantage, you manage that business in a way that puts you at a disadvantage when it comes to cash flow maximization. So we have a new book that we are developing right now, which is Master the Sales Communication Process, and we will go deeper into this. Today, I'm giving you a high level overview of what the sales communication process is all about, the sales communication ecosystem. We're looking at the first organism, which is the absolute buyer data marker, to really help you to understand the role that this plays in your business. Now, if you're not doing market research, you're going to set yourself up to get hurt. Now, the first type of market research that we looked at is primary market research. Now, there's secondary research, and secondary research has both advantages and disadvantages. Now, some of the advantages of using secondary data is that you are going to sources where information has already been studied and published and you have access to it. So all you need to do is to collect that data and analyze that data and to use that data. So the legwork with human research to go to the ground to do the actual research, that part has been covered. So that's a major advantage. And because of that, the cost of collecting information is going to be much cheaper, much lower. The disadvantage here is that the information that you're collecting can be outdated. And when information is outdated and you're using that body of knowledge to make informed business decisions, it can be very misleading. And when you're using misleading information, misleading data, outdated data to make business decisions, it can cost you money, time, stress. And those are things that you definitely don't want to be faced with. So it's important for you to really take the time to understand this. Now, I want to add something else to this. There is a concept that we call speculation or speculative data. Now, this is commonly used, to most people's surprise. You have so many businesses today that are not applying themselves effectively at primary market research. They are not applying themselves effectively at secondary data analysis. They prefer to use speculative data, where you're speculating your way through the entire process. And I know this for sure because I interface with clients from across the world. And there are many persons that simply start a business because the perception is that there is a need for the product or the service. And I'm saying that is not enough motive to start a business. You see, when you're starting a business, you're not starting a business because you necessarily have a desire to start that business. That is all good and well intentional. But what makes business a solid business decision is when your intention to start a business coincide with the consumer or potential client needs, wants, and expectation, and you're able to bridge the gap between your desire and the expectations of the target market. Now, if there's no market for the product or service that you want to supply, you don't have a business. So here again is where market research comes into play, the absolute buyer data comes into play, where you're going to go to the ground, You're going to get the market intelligence that will help you to make informed business decision. So it's important to understand this. Step away from speculative data that can be very, very misleading, cause you time, money, stress, sleepless nights. You don't want that. You need to take the time and you need to apply the absolute bio data. Now, I want to talk briefly about the effective use or the effective application of the absolute biodata marker. Why exactly is this tool being applied? Of course, I can give you a list of reasons why the absolute biodata is useful. One, it is useful in helping you to collect sensitive data. It is useful in helping you to analyze sensitive data. It is useful in helping you to apply or leverage those sensitive data. Now, let me get a little bit into what exactly I'm saying here. Every business needs information. You need demographic data. And demographic data, the collection of demographic data, is so important because if you do not have demographic data, it means that you're guessing through your entire business process when it comes to innovating products or services to reach the consumer needs. Because it is only the demographic data that will help you to understand who is your target market. You are able to look at things like age and gender and income bracket and these different types of things that you were using to make an informed and educated decision about what demographic you want to target. It is this data that will really help you to understand the size of your market, the density of your market, the dispersion of your market, and you need these type of information as you are positioning yourself for leadership in business. If you don't have this type of information, you're guessing, and you need to take the guesswork out of the entire business process. All right, again, I want to pause and I want to say to you, if you are finding this content interesting, I want to encourage you to like, subscribe, and share. So you will be the first to get this program when we publish. Today, we continue our conversation on the sales communication process or the sales communication ecosystem. And today we are doing a deep dive into the first organism of the sales communication ecosystem. And the first organism that we're looking at today is what we call the absolute biodata markers. And if you're in business, you need to understand them. All right, we are doing a beautiful book that have all of this information and so much more. That's going to give you that competitive advantage as you position yourself again for leadership in business. So understanding demographic data is very useful. You need to understand who you're targeting. You see, one of the notion that some people run away with is that once you're in business, you're targeting everybody. And that's completely wrong. It's completely wrong. You need to identify if you're targeting women. And you might say you're targeting women, but I want to assure you again, you're not targeting necessarily all women, because there are various factors that influences people's purchasing decision. Some people purchase based on price, and some people purchase based on prestige. And if you get that mix up, you really don't understand your target market. And you need to understand your target market. And you see, this is the significance behind the programs that we are doing, the books that we are writing. It really gives you the kind of information that you need so you can now make better business decisions. Now, the absolute biodata is also used to help you to collect data such as the psychographic data. Now, how important is the psychographic data? And again, what I'm talking about here today is not any isolated issues. The top 100 companies in the developed world, they are driven by data. In fact, a large part of social media, perhaps 90% and more of social media, they are organs that are used to collect data. And that data is now analyzed. And that data is now leveraged in such a way to help top 100 companies, Fortune 500 companies, to do specific demographic targeting. At the right time, we will go deeper and deeper and deeper into it. So, if the top 100 companies are using this to generate billions and billions of dollars in annual revenue, it means that they're doing something, that perhaps other companies, rising stars in business, need to learn and apply into their business. And that's why we are here to provide you with that platform that allows you to get these type of information so you can make better business decisions. The absolute buyer data is also used to collect sensitive data on geography. And what exactly do I mean by data? Geographical data. In terms of looking at geographical data, we're talking about you understanding your local markets, your regional market, your national market, your international market. There's some businesses that simply, do local businesses. As a private equity investor, uh, looking at a business that might have a very strong brand that is just doing business locally may trigger my interest because I know that that local brand has tremendous scalability in terms of making impact at a regional level, at a national level, and at an international level. But again, you as an entrepreneur, you need to know this because it is the knowledge that will help you to apply the type of leadership to really grow and expand your operation. So the data also, the absolute buyer data, it helps you to understand this ecosystem and how to use it. Again, today's the objective is to give you a high level overview of the importance of the sales communication ecosystem. Today, we are looking at one of the organisms that falls under the ecosystem, and the organism that we're looking at today is the absolute buyer data marker. And we're looking at how to use this data to optimize the growth of your business. Now, as we look at geographic data, um, it's important. You see, there's a number of importance about doing this type of analysis and having this type of information because it is by doing the geographic analysis you're able to assess the market size. So it is your ability to identify the size of your market that will enable you to understand the potential of that market to cash flow. It is by understanding your competition and applying the SWOT analysis, knowing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, that will help you to understand your business potential to cash flow based on the market size. So there are data that are available that can help you to make very close to accurate decisions as to how to cash flow your business. It is by having these data you understand the income earning capacity of the specific target market. You understand disposable incomes that they have to invest in your value proposition or minimum viable offer. And it is by having this type of information that informs you in the first place if it really makes sense to do business, to get into business. You need to have this entire body of knowledge that is helping you to make business decisions. You see, this is the reason why we see over 50% of businesses that get started fail in year one, and perhaps less than 30% survive after the 10-year life cycle. Access to data The ability to analyze data, the ability to leverage data in the right way that enables you to innovate products and services to connect with the ideal client and drive visibility, reach impact and client conversion that is going to prevent you from achieving the business objective. Of course, we know that there are other factors, but I'm saying to you, this is fundamental to the success of your business. You see, if you go into a private equity investor, you're able to say to the private equity investor, you have done the analysis. This is my market size. This is the spending power of this market. This is the gaps in the market in terms of products and services. This is what we're able to innovate, and it will take about 5, 10, 15 years for the competitors to catch up with your innovation. It makes sense to get into that. You're most likely able to attract the right investors to come alongside you. But if you don't have information, you're going to struggle through the business process. Now, if you don't have this information, it makes sense to ensure that you have a sales communication professional on your side that can help you in this process of compiling the data, analyzing data, presenting the data in front of the right demographic, the right target audience, the right business partners to help to accelerate and leapfrog the growth of your business. So there are other ways to apply the absolute buyer data. We talked so far about demographic data, how it is used to get demographic data, how it is used to get psychographic data. Psychographic data, which I didn't go into a whole lot. There's a whole lot. Why people do the things that they do. You need to understand that, and the ability to leverage that information and deliver on people's expectations. Why people do what they do, why people want what they want, is going to work to your advantage. The absolute buyer data also can be used in qualitative data analysis and quantitative data analysis. It can also be used in the SWOT analysis and the PEST analysis. At the beginning of this program, I talk about the PEST analysis. I talk about the P in the PEST. There is the political issues, economic issues, social issues, and technological issues. So doing business is not divorced from a clear understanding of this ecosystem. So when we talk about the absolute buyer data markers, you want to know the human factors enablers, that are there to enable you to do business. Because human, capital is vital. You need to understand technical resources and capital resources. You need to understand political environment as an enabler or disabler. You need to understand, economic realities, social realities, technologies that you can use as an enablers to get the competitive advantage. So it is a lot of information that you need, and of course, you don't have to be the subject matter expert in all of these areas that I'm talking about. It's about building out your organization chart in the right way to ensure that you have the right team players on your side that can really help you to make the right decision to move your business, your brand to another level of development. Of course, today is to give you a high level overview of the absolute buyer data marker. I trust that you find today's topic interesting. And again, I want to encourage you to like, subscribe, and share so you'll be the first to get this information that we're bringing to you on a regular basis. Now, this program again comes to you with the kind compliments of Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York. Now, Pitch Deck, again, we have a focus on helping businesses to set up their brand properly throughout the United States of America. So we can help you set up your business properly in about 51 states. And once your business is set up properly, now there's a right and wrong with the set up your business. There are many people that are starting their business and they never heard about a SIC code. They never heard about a NAICS code. And if you set up your business and you have the wrong NIC or NAICS code, guess what? It can, one, when you go to access capital, it puts you at a high risk category, so you have to pay a high cost for capital. Or guess what else? Because you're in a high risk, it literally prevents you from accessing funding. So the NAICS code is important, the SIC code is important, and there's so much more. There are many businesses that we are aware that are started and they don't have a paydex score. Now, if you don't have a paydex score, it means that you are not building up your business to be fundable. All right. So you have to start this whole process again, while you would have lost 2, 3, 4, 5 years of history in business, largely because you did not set up your business in the right way. So some of the things that we do at Pitch Deck 101 LLC is to really help you to set up that business properly and to fast track that process in which you're able to access capital to move your business forward. Global Capital Inc., on the other hand, we work with businesses to really help businesses to understand financial instruments, meaning debt, equity, credit, creative finance, and hard money lending. It is not only to understand financial instruments, but it's about understanding how to access these financial portfolios, how to leverage these portfolios, and how to mitigate debt. Debt mitigation is not a common subject that is discussed, globally. We at Global Capital Inc., Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York, and 10X B&M LLC, we talk about this on a daily basis. Because one of the things that we see is that your business, many businesses, will be able to significantly reduce the cost of doing business by simply understanding debt mitigation. In most cases, what we see, you take a debt, let us say, of $100 million. The life cycle of that debt is 20 years. The debt interest rate is 10%. Over that 20 years life cycle, you're paying back $200 million, meaning that you are paying $100 million on the principal balance, and you're paying $100 million on the interest, the APR. But there are ways in which you could legally bring down your APR. But of course, as I said, it's not a common topic. It is common with us at Pitch Deck 101 LLC, out of New York, Global Capital Inc., and 10X B&M LLC. We provide a comprehensive range of services to businesses that really help businesses to win in more ways than one. So I truly encourage you to reach out to us today so we can have that consultation. Consultation is going to be free, and you wouldn't regret it. So I trust again that you would have enjoyed today's broadcast. We talked today about the sales communication ecosystem, the sales communication process. Now, if you're in business and you are not heavily involved in sales, the possibility exists by that default that business will fail. You need to understand the entire ecosystem that surrounds sales communication. And just to quickly go through that, from our platform, we talk about the absolute buyer data marker, which I've just went do that deep dive into. We talk about knowing the sales objective. What are the sales objective? You want to be known. So we talk about the knownability factor, the likability factor, the trustability factors. Are you able to get through all of this as you position your product, your services, and your brand out there? Do you understand the influencer models and how to apply them? Do you understand how to master that sales process? So it goes into all of this. We also talk about the sales process, the communication process, the pull factors of sales communication, and the push factors of sales communication. We also talk about understanding communication media, because you may be very excellent in terms of how you present your facts, but understanding communication channels and the effectiveness of those communication channels is another vital piece of element that represents the entire puzzle. So when we talk about communication channels, we are talking about understanding mass media, understanding social media, understanding the metaverse, and understanding independent communication channel. So the platform that we are going to be introducing you to, or we are now introducing you to, is so important for business. And of course, on starting on the point of you may be visible, but very visible, but you're not achieving your sales objective, you're not optimizing conversion, but you have everything there built in to be, known. So you're covered the knowability factor. You have everything built in there to be liked. You have that built in. You have everything built in to be trusted. So why is it that visibility is not converting into convertibility? So that's the subject matter that we're going to talk about. And we will see if political interference can affect visibility. We will do an analysis if, cultural issues, racism is going to affect how certain brands are perceived. We will do that deep analysis as time progresses, as we go deeper and deeper into these analysis, because our objective here is to be data driven. We want to know why things are happening and what can be done to make it happen better. All right, how it can serve the interests of the collective. So, with that being said, I trust again that you would have enjoyed today's program. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a private equity investor out of the US, and we are here to provide information to businesses. So, feel free to ask questions based on today's broadcast. We'll be happy to respond to you. And remember, like, subscribe, and share.